addition to that, we're going to have some gusty winds from time to time, some breezy conditions, wind gusts anywhere between 15 and 30 miles per hour off and on for about the next 4 days or so. And we're also going to be watching the possibility for a refreeze threat tonight, okay? Look, the only areas that made it above freezing today were the Lynchburg and South Side zones. Everybody else west stayed in the 20s today, but all of us saw sunshine, and with the sun's angle right now, we are still able to melt a little bit of the ice, even though we didn't get above freezing in some of our backyards. So the refreeze threat tonight is very real. And we're going to be dealing with a dangerous wind chill off and on as we go for the remainder of about the next 4 to 5, maybe even 6 days. All right, so as we look now at the cold weather alerts, their cold weather advisories tonight, they're in effect until 11 a.m. Wednesday for the Highlands, for Highland, Bath, and Allegheny counties. Notice that the cold weather alerts tonight not nearly as numerous as they were last night, so I don't think tonight is going to be quite as cold as last night. That being said, it's still going to be frigid out there. And as far as the overnight lows tonight, we're going to fall into the single digits across portions of the Highlands, also portions of the New River Valley. Other portions of the New River Valley will be in the 10s. Everybody else further east will likely be in the 10s for the most part overnight tonight as well. Current wind chills, when you factor in the wind and the temperature, you get your feel-like temperature, you get your wind chill. It feels like 6 below right now in Hot Springs, so it still feels below 0 even at this hour in Hot Springs. It feels like the single digits in Wytheville and also in Independence. Feels like the 10s out across Pulaski, Blacksburg, Roanoke, and even over towards Rocky Mount. Single-digit wind chills right now, or feel-like temperatures in Floyd. So it's very, very frigid outside, just probably not quite as frigid as last night. All right, let's talk about the future wind chill. And as we look at tomorrow morning, this is as you head out the door, 6, 7, 8 a.m., we are looking at some wind chills below 0 in parts of the Highlands and also into parts of the NRV. Other parts of the NRV, Highlands, and the Roanoke Valley going to feel more like the single digits, and it's going to feel like the 10s in most parts of the areas in and around Lynchburg, south into South Side. Pretty much a similar story as we go into Thursday morning. As you head out the door Thursday morning, still could feel below 0 in many parts of the Highlands and the NRV, likely going to feel like the single digits across the Roanoke Valley, Lynchburg, and Southside locations. My thought process is it might actually feel a little bit colder outside Thursday morning than tomorrow morning, but both mornings are going to be absolutely brutal, no doubt about it. But again, the wind chill might be a couple of degrees colder Thursday morning in comparison to tomorrow morning. So why do we care about the wind chill? Why is the wind chill important? Well, when the winds are calm, we keep a layer of heat generated by our bodies close to our bodies, and that means that we're able to stay a little bit warmer. But on a breezy day or on a windy day, the body heat escapes as the wind picks up. So the wind pushes the layer of heat away from our bodies. So again, when it's cold, in the single digits, it's bad enough, but when you factor in the wind, it makes it that much worse. So tonight, we talked about that chance for some black ice tonight. We talked about the chance for some refreezing. Let's talk about ways to kind of combat that. You want to reduce speed. Obviously, you want to not go out if at all possible. You want to avoid driving at all costs, unless you absolutely have to go out. Avoid sudden stops. If sliding, you want to turn the wheels in the same direction as the slide, and you want to avoid hills and or steep inclines. All right, let's talk about the radar, and yeah, there's stuff to talk about on the radar. Today there wasn't, but as expected tonight, we're starting to see some snow showers pushing their way in from West Virginia. And really, Allegheny County, south into Bland and Wythe County, seeing some ribbons of snow showers right now. That includes areas in and around Giles, Pulaski, Montgomery, and also into Craig counties, and there might actually be a couple of snowflakes flying around Catawba and Bradshaw into northwestern parts of Roanoke County. So again, these snow showers are coming in from West Virginia, and they may continue to come in from West Virginia here over the course of roughly the next 4 to 8 hours or so. I would think that these should be gone by the time we wake up tomorrow morning, but it's going to be close. Futurecast does show that the snow showers will end for us overnight, and then Wednesday is going to be a day where we may still have some lingering clouds out across the mountainous areas left over from this little clipper system overnight tonight. But further east, to Lynchburg south side, I think you're mostly sunny all day long. Okay, but again, a little more cloud cover west, but that cloud cover west will likely start to go away as we go later into the morning, and then we may start to see a few more clouds again pushing in later in the day. May have another weak clipper type system impacting us into Wednesday night. Again, Wednesday night, the clipper might not be as strong as the one tonight, which means that most of the snow showers Wednesday night are going to stay in West Virginia. But every now and again, there could be a little spillover into portions of the Highlands and also into the NRV. Otherwise, Thursday is going to be a partly to, at times, mostly sunny day. So overall, Wednesday and Thursday during the day were pretty bright, but tonight and tomorrow night may actually have more clouds in the mountains and even some flurries and or some snow showers around. Then let's talk about the weekend. Okay, so if you watch computer models at all, you already know this. But per usual, as we look at the setup here going into later Friday, Saturday, into Saturday night, the European model and the GFS model are not in agreement at all. Okay, so let's talk about those. The GFS has more of a westward track, which would mean more snow for us. Okay, the European track is more of an eastward track, i.e. staying almost offshore, frankly, with less snow in the forecast. So the GFS, again, brings the low closer to us, which means more of an impact for us. The European model keeps the low a little bit further east, and that would mean less of an impact for us. I can tell you both models actually bring quite a bit of heavy precipitation into areas east of us towards the Hampton Roads area and also into eastern parts of the Carolinas. It's just a matter of how far this thing moves westward to determine our forecast. And right now, the low pressure system looks to, for the most part, stay far enough to the east where it doesn't look to bring us a huge impact. But that could change, okay? Very important to note that that could change. As a general rule, we've seen it both ways. Sometimes these systems follow the track that the eastward track says it's going to take, meaning sometimes the precipitation stays to our east, and yes, you see more rain, more snow, more ice in areas to the east of us, and we're left, pretty quiet. That does happen. But it also happens that as the computer models get closer to the time frame that is worrisome, that those tracks tend to also track sometimes further west. And if that further west track happens, we are going to see some snow around here. So we're going to have to see how it all plays out. Right now, I'm leaning more towards the Euro, but I do think that the Euro is a little too far east, and I do think we would be on the western edge, which would mean, yeah, we could get a couple of inches of snow in some areas as we go late Friday into Saturday. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm thinking right now. Regardless, both the Euro and the GFS are producing a coastal low, which could turn into a nor'easter. Both of these are bringing us very frigid temperatures as we go into the weekend, a reinforcing shot of frigid air, Arctic air on the way, and both bring us some strong winds as well. So we're going to be talking about wind chills well below zero again as we go very late week into this upcoming weekend. All right, let's talk temperatures. It's 13 right now in Hot Springs, 21 Wytheville, 27 Roanoke, 28 in Lynchburg, upper 20s and lower 30s as we speak across south side locations. And as we look at Wednesday, looking at highs in the lower 30s in Roanoke and Lynchburg, middle 30s perhaps in Danville and in south side, upper 20s in Blacksburg. That puts us about 12 to 18 degrees below average for this time of year. But you need to know tomorrow when we're dealing with the cold, we're not alone, okay? We are in good company. We are by no means dealing with this by ourselves. We've got, very, very chilly temperatures, cold temperatures extending from Maine all the way south into Florida, all the way west into Texas, then north into Minnesota and North Dakota. To find warmer temperatures, you need to go way out to the Pacific Northwest, south into Las Vegas, over towards Salt Lake City. Okay, so this area in orange, that's where the warmth is going to be across the country. Way, way, way far away from us. Much of the country dealing with colder than average temperatures, including us here at home. Your forecast for tonight, about 11, but again, it's going to feel colder than that because we have a northwest wind 6 to 12 with some higher gusts. General trend may actually be for the winds to weaken later tonight. Clouds will thicken a bit overnight tonight, and yes, we will have that chance for some mountain flurries and snow showers too. You need to also know, look at this. This does not, it happens, but it doesn't happen all too often. We've got, come tomorrow morning, a strong northerly wind bringing freezing temperatures all the way south to the Gulf Coast. So we're looking at temperatures upper 20s and low to mid 30s in places like Houston, Lake Charles, Louisiana, potentially even in New Orleans, over towards Mobile, and even into Pensacola. Okay, so right along the Gulf Coast, it's going to be really, really cold as well. Not as cold as us, but still very cold even along the Gulf Coast states going into tonight and tomorrow morning. Highs tomorrow, lower 30s for the most part. We're going to see more sunshine than cloud cover, and we're still going to be cold. And I don't think the winds are going to be as strong tomorrow as they were today. All right, 30 for us on Thursday, then the 20s return Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Temperatures may rebound a little bit into the 30s early next week. Of course, we're keeping a very close eye on both Friday and Saturday. Again, right now it does look like we could see some snow showers from it, and if that thing drifts, further west, then we'd have to really up those chances for snow. So we'll have to see how it all plays out. And of course, if the European model's right, we don't see much snow at all out of this. So we'll have to give it about another 12 hours to see how the computer models act. And by tomorrow, I think we're going to have to put together a forecast for you. But for now, it doesn't look like a big deal. But please stay tuned. Okay, that could easily change. And then again, that little frontal boundary is going to push in some colder air, and that means overnight lows Friday night and Saturday night will be between 0 and 6 with wind chills well below 0. So it's going to feel absolutely frigid again for us here late this week into this upcoming weekend. Current time is 10:11. We'll be back here in about 50 minutes from now, actually a little bit less than that, with our 10 o'clock newscast on WSLS. We do look forward to seeing you then, but if we don't, I hope everybody has a great night, and we'll see you again real soon.